Yeah, thanks, Sana, for starting the recording. So we will proceed ahead with our session for today. Yeah, thanks. Excuse me. Okay. So today, basically, guys, actually, today's session and tomorrow's session, they are interlinked to each other. They're not like very different. They're almost the same. Okay. Now, so what we are basically going to have a look at in our today's session as well as in tomorrow's session, both. So we are going to have a look at mass data loads. Now, when you have a look at mass data load, what does it actually means? So it actually means that uh, we are going to load master data manually in the Ariba system. So mass data load means what? So it means basically we are going to load the master data manually in the Ariba system. Okay. All of you will say, Manoj, okay, I think we discussed this thing during our demo session as well. Yes. Now the question which you should basically be asking yourself is, even though we are having a master data integration where, okay, another thing manually over here, it is written, share master data automatically move the data between or from ERP to Ariba. Now, try to understand this particular scenario. We are having mass data loads. We are also having master data integration. What does it actually represent? Mass data load basically represent that we will have the master data load with the help of what? With the help of manually loading the data. But on the other hand, look at master data integration. What does master data integration means? Master data integration means automatically we are going to move the data from ERP to Ariba. Now, all of you guys will be thinking about one thing. That is, Manoj, if everything can be done with the help of master data integration in a very simple way, automatically, then why we need to do this activity manually? Don't you think? So, what are your views on this point, guys? You can share your views in the chat box. That even though we are having master data integration, which will automatically move the data from ERP to Ariba, why? Why we need master data loads? Load means to move existing data or old data. Both. It is actually, yes, this is a very good question. Initial setup or incremental setup? I will say both. I will say both. Now, how are you going to basically do this stuff? Okay. No, no, no. Mass data load is not for the initial setup. Initial and incremental both. Both. There might be a situation there is no ERP. No, that will never be the scenario. Why? Because try to understand this particular thing that like we cannot have it like that. Why? Because ERP will be integrated with Ariba, plain and simple. There's no other option. Now, all of you are basically thinking, yes, Manoj, then why? Why? So try to understand this scenario first. Excuse me. First and foremost thing, if you do the master data integration, you will be saying, yes, Manoj, this is simple. Whether during the data cutover activity I am doing, that means initial, or whether I am doing the incremental. Incremental means after go live. Why? Automatically this data will come. Very good. But if you say automatically, then there is another two checks. This is the first check. Master data must exist in ERP and Ariba. And these are the two checks which should be passed. Then only we can do the master data integration. So that means what? So that means majority of you guys are basically thinking that, Are Manoj, we will do this particular stuff. Everything will happen very, very properly. Then I will say, hold on. Are boss, master data, is it same? Is master data same in ERP and Ariba? No, it is not. Now why? Because majority of you guys are basically thinking, Are Ariba is a SAP company, same. Wrong. See, if you compare SRM, these are basically developed by whom? Developed by SAP only, in-house. So yes, their master data and everything will be same. But Ariba is not. Why? Because Ariba was developed during 2008, 2009. Ariba Cloud Solution was launched in 2010. Okay. And Manoj, when Ariba was bought out by SAP? September 2012. Almost like 2.5 years, more than two, after 2.5 years of the launch of the on cloud solution. Now all of you will be thinking, Manoj, interesting point. So the architecture is different, master data is also different. I am not saying all the master data is different, but architecture is different. Some master data extra you will find it over here. Why? Because those master data are Ariba specific. Now all of you are basically thinking, Manoj, this is like a literary point which we need to basically understand. Exactly. Exactly. So that means, take for example, purchasing unit. Purchasing unit only exists in Ariba. I'm not talking about purchasing organization. I'm not talking about purchasing group. Ha, Manoj. Purchasing unit, does it exist in ERP? All of you will say no. Why? Because I'm hearing it for the first time. Exactly. Similarly, commodity code, does it exist? All of you will be saying, Hare, huh? Same material group? Then I will say, hold on. What's the format of material group in ERP? Excuse me. Now all of you guys are thinking, yeah, yes, Manoj, good point. Custom. In Ariba, will you load custom UNSPSC commodity code? No, you will load UNSPSC commodity code. What is UNSPSC? United Nations Specified Product and Services Commodity Code. In short, standard commodity code. So that means the format of the data is different. Just like, for example, all of you are, you know, like you'd be able to speak in Hindi, you'd be able to speak in English as well, and some other languages as well, right? But if I ask all of you guys, how many of you can speak fluently in Japanese? Now, all of you will say, Are Manoj, you're giving a good challenge. Why? Because Japanese is a tough language. Very few people know about it. Unless and until you have not worked in Japan, learning it would be too much tough. Yes, exactly. That's the point. So even though it is a language, Japanese is not a language, English is a language. Now, all of you will say, Are Manoj, are you joking? Yes, Japanese is always also a language. English is a language. Japanese is also a language. But then why it is not same? Because of the format. So that is why these two things must be similar. Then only you can do the master data integration. So that is why we need the mass data load also. Now in mass data load, what are the activity which we will perform? The first one is commodity code. Second one is purchasing unit. Now third one, all of you will be basically be surprised. Huh? One is tax config. So majority of you guys has basically gone to a project and basically have decided what will happen, where it will happen, right? Yes. But anywhere, anywhere, did you learn one thing that tax configuration will be performed in Ariba? So anybody who have heard that tax configuration we will do it in Ariba without any issue? Now, why I'm asking this question? Now some of you guys are saying tax configuration will be done based on the external partner. Yes, this was the answer. Now, why I am saying this thing? Because some of the time you will see that tax configuration are a mano GRP only. In specifically US and Canadian project, there he will basically say, their client will basically say, Are, we will directly go to third party system. Yes, to all of those guys, I just want to one simple thing. You can do the configuration in Ariba. It's much more simpler. Now, why you cannot do this configuration, tax configuration in SAP ECC? Because the thing is like in SAP ECC, you cannot do this tax configuration specifically for US client, because in US the tax is basically what? Calculated based on the county, not on the state, not at the country level, but at the county level. And what happens in ECC is like, this is where everything will have issues. And what's that issue? That issue is that in ECC, you have to customize the whole tax thing. Now, majority of the US and Canadian client, they will say, why I will do that thing? I will basically calculate the tax in a third party application and I will integrate it with ERP. Now, please remember one thing. I am never saying to all of you guys that force your client to use tax configuration in Ariba. No, I'm never saying that. So please don't, think, Are Manoj, you're telling us that you should physically force the client. No. But what I am saying to all of you guys is, show them these options. Then let your client take a decision. What will happen later on? Okay. Exactly. We should not basically think about it at all. Let the, what you can say, uh, let the client take a decision. Okay. And the last one is basically user. User means buyer. And rows creation plus assignment. And the last one after this is basically supplier. So supplier, we will basically see it in tomorrow's session, because supplier itself is quite big. So today's basically major focusing are these 4 points. Now, before I go over there, what are the rules you should need? You should need this rule. These two rules. Now remember, these two rules are, quite high level rules. If you don't have, if you go to a project and you will basically immediately ask, boss, I need these rules. Your client might be, what you can say, uh, that this role will not be given immediately. Client might take some data. Organization data, we don't have organization data in Ariba, but that's not the full answer. I will give you the full answer, don't worry. But as of now, officially, you don't have a org structure in Ariba. Is there any other master data specific to Ariba other than this 5 data fields? See, the thing is, like, as I was basically saying, these are the major 5 master data which we will use in our system. There might be some other fields, but those fields are, those are not table related or master data related, transactional data related, maybe. So those things are totally different. Those things we cannot load it into Ariba. But this master data, we have to load it. That is why our focus is working on master data load, means this 5 master data. Yeah. Now, whenever you will basically go and work on this thing, it's very simple. Go to the site, click on Manage, Code Administration, Site Manager, Data Import Export. Okay, this is where all the things you can do. Now, before I go into the CSV levels and we talk about everything, I want to show to all of you guys some option. There are low import operations over there. So these are basically called as data operations. Now what happens is, try to understand this scenario. You're working with thousands of data, right? You're working with thousands of data. Yes, Manoj, that can happen. In production, thousands of data is there, you have chosen a wrong data operation. What will happen? You want to update only 200 data records. What happened? 1000 data records got updated with junk data. What you will do now? Are Manoj, this is causing an issue. Yes, that is what happens with majority of the functional consultant who goes to work on basically what? Basically in this master data load. So this is the major issue. That is why many of the Ariba consultant, not many, almost like 95% of the Ariba consultant, they don't want to touch master data load, because anything wrong, it will basically junk, put junk in the production system. Now, okay, Manoj, so we understood the issue. What's the solution? What's the solution? So the solution is very, very simple. You should know when to use which data operation. Yes, practically, not theoretically, practically. Then what will happen is, like, you will never make a mistake. Just for example, you know how to drive a normal car, but somebody give you an F1 Formula 1 car. Can you drive that car like a normal car? No, it will always backfire. So that is where you have to understand that which data operation to use where. Then it will be very, very simple. Okay. Now, what are the data operations? Let's try to understand that. So the first data operations is now what we will do. All of you will work with CSV file. CSV file will have data record. Now imagine all of you guys are having a CSV file with 100 data records. Okay, Manoj, we can have 100 data records. So what's the issue? So 40 old records. 30 old records. Now, can any of you guys take a guess? What do you mean by new records and old records? New is to create and old record is to update. No? Yes, yes, correct. Old means what? Pre-existing record, or it is existing in Ariba. Exactly. See, this is what I meant over there. See, the thing is like you have to remember first that new record means what? It's new. It's not existing in Ariba, plain and simple. And on the other hand, if you are saying ki, I am having old record means what? It exists in Ariba. Now, I do understand. I do understand that all of you will say, "Are Manoj, we are having some old record in the CSV file means we are updating." Not necessarily. Not necessarily. How? Suppose, suppose you are having 400 old records and you got this file from the data team. Can any one of you guys tell me how many of these data is updated and how many of this data is not updated? All 400 updated. Any guess on this part? So that means what? Old means pre-existing. Excuse me. Now we have understood what will happen in create mode when we are choosing the create data operations, right? 60 new records, 40 old records. What will happen when we will load the CSV file? Any guess on this part, guys? 60 new data records, 40 old data records. Plain and simple. Come on, guys. Share your views. I think only one of you guys have shared your views till now. Please share your views, all of you, in the chat box. It does not matter whether it's right or wrong. Why? Because you are here to learn everything. Okay. 60 new records will be added and 40 will be updated. Okay. 60 will get created and 40 records will be replaced. 60 records will get created and 40 records will be replaced. Okay. Replaced means like updated. Okay. 60 will be newly created in Ariba and 40 will be updated or changed in Ariba. Okay, all will be created as new. No, not all. Like, see, the thing is like, 60 new records will be created as new, but 40 old records, it is already pre-existing in Ariba. So Ariba cannot create once again the 40 old data records. Why? Because that will be duplicated. Ariba won't allow duplication. Okay, yes. Now what to do, Manoj? Or how to basically have a look at it? Data will be overwritten. That means updated. See, that is why I wanted all of you guys to basically share your views. Why? Why? Whenever you are basically choosing create mode means Ariba will basically check, is this new data record or pre-existing? If it is new, it will create, pre-existing, it will basically overlook. Now, taking this logic into the second scenario, what would be the answer for update mode? You've understood the first concept, right? Now, can any of you guys share what will happen in the update mode? No, only 30 records will be updated, correct? No action on new 70 records, correct? 70 will be created. No, it will not get created over here. So here, try to understand in the second option, what will happen? Why? Because this is update mode. Update mode means what? Ariba will check, does it exist? The data exists? If yes, update it. If no, overlook it. So that means you have to be very, very specific. You just cannot say, Are Manoj, I will use this thing everywhere. You have to basically say, okay, you want to create new data records? Create it. You want to update? Update the old one. It will not create. Now, what will happen in load? So in load, so what is happening? New records will be created, old records will be updated. Yes, Manoj, it makes sense. So in load mode means new record it will create, old record it will update. What will happen in deactivate in this scenario? Can any of you guys take a guess? What will happen in this deactivate? Only 10 records will be deactivated. 0 records will be created or updated. Exactly correct. So only 10 old records will be deactivated. Now deactivated means what, guys? So when you will go in Ariba and you will see, you will deactivate, Ariba will say deleted. 10 record is deleted. What does it actually means? Okay, deleted from the database. Okay, no longer can be used, disabled, blocked for any operation. See, when you say deleted from database, what does this concept means? It means physical deletion. So in on-premise solution, you do, not you, but your developer do have access to AC11. They can go at the database level and basically from there physically delete data.